Hey everyone, my name is Mary Coughlin. I'm the president and founder of Caring Essentials Collaborative, and this is the 12th day of the 12 days of articles in review. And I really thought hard and long about what would be the best articles to kind of wrap up this series. And so I put my mind and my focus on what are the goals and objectives of me and my organization for the year, and to share articles that really reflect that. And the work that I do is really all about transformation, and transforming care, transforming cultures is certainly no easy task, and requires a mindset, a mind shift in how we approach our day-to-day work. And so with that in mind, I went about doing my lit search, and I came across these two pretty cool articles that talk about improvement work from the perspective of habits, the habits that we create to create reliability, high reliability and consistency. And so this first paper has this beautiful graphic, and they're both open access, which is wicked awesome. I think you're going to really enjoy the reads, and they're very practical and pragmatic. The first author, Bill Lucas, his paper is published in BMJ Quality and Safety Journal. The title of the paper is Getting the Improvement Habit. And he talks, in his introduction, he talks about how improvement folks, educators, QI folks and stuff like that, we kind of create lots of tools and strategies, and he actually lists some of them. We just have like a real laundry list of different trigger tools, run chats, drive diagrams, those fish things, and all these different things and tools and ways that we can evaluate and measure. And we've created this little bubble of jargon and language and stuff that is, for me, it's kind of fun and cool, but it can be really alienating to the frontline clinicians who are really the turnkey for the transformation that we're looking for. And so what he suggests is really kind of peeling back all of these layers that are really creating almost a barrier between the work that we want to get done and the folks that we need to engage to facilitate the transformation, and start looking at habits. What are those habits that we need to create to facilitate change? And when we identify the habits, then that will help us better understand then, so what are the learning needs then to cultivate these habits, create these habits, and then what are those things that we need to look at within the organization and the environment to create reminders and redundancies so that these habits will just naturally take hold and become the way we do things now. And so the graphic that he creates is really pretty cool, and I can't wait for you to look at it, and please let me know what you think about it. But it's this lovely figure, and it's called The Habits of an Improver. And at the center of the figure is the goal of caregiving, depicted as the co-production of health and social care. So, and think about that, co-producing health. We produce health in partnership with our patients, with each other, and social care. And that, these relationships that really drive that connection that we have, that we need to engage individuals, families, patients in health promoting behaviors, relationship guiding activities, and that sort of thing. And so that's what he's got in the center of this diagram. It's a circular figure. And then in the middle, he highlights the importance of communication in improvement. And so communicating with each other, communicating, upstream, downstream, laterally with families, involving everyone. Remember that paper that I shared with you a couple days ago by Salenza, talking about involving the families, when we're talking about NICU work or pediatric quality improvement work, engaging the families as actual partners in the QI initiative, requires communication, and it helps us get that 360 view of the problem, and the opportunity. And then around the communication bit, the outside, are the 5 habits. And attached to the outer ring are the 15 sub-habits. So it gets really involved. But the 5 habits that he's identified for improvers is learning, influencing, resilience, creativity, and systems thinking. And when I saw this, I was like, holy moly, I need to take this and apply it to the work that I do, because it really provides so much clarity, at least for me, and I think for frontline clinicians too, because we can get lost in the jargon. If it's not your cup of tea, why are we, the people that are trying to do the improvement, making it even more complicated than it already is? I think this idea of habits is really the new approach, and the second paper really kind of validates that concept, where the title of the paper by Voges and Hilligos is The Underappreciated Role of Habit in Highly Reliable Healthcare. And of course, I was just reading it, and now I just need to go back and make sure that I'm on track when I start referencing it. But they talk about habit as this central concept in both sociology and psychology. And think about healthcare system. It's a social structure, right? It's a social network. And the thought of creating habits makes improvement work that much more attainable and, of course, sustainable, which is really what we are trying to achieve. As they talk through the paper, they also identify these very important habits. The first, and they talk about the work of John Dewey, and he was an American pragmatist who really kind of introduced these 3 faculties of human action: habit, what does he say? Habit, intelligence, and impulse. And of these habits, habit is the most important one, because he goes on to say, man is a creature of habit, not of reason and not of instinct, that our brains actually work to make things easy, because there's efficiency in habits, right? And actually, there's a whole other branch of science looking at these default networks, right? How our brain tries to simplify the complexity of the world and how we walk through the world by creating these habits. Have you ever driven home after work and your mind is just doing something and you're blown away by the fact that, like, I'm pulling into the driveway and I don't even remember the drive home? That's your default network. Those are habits, right? That they don't require a lot of thought once they're hardwired into the way you move through work or life or whatever. And so getting improvement practices or best practices or better practices into a habit, there's real benefit around that, because then everybody has the same habits. We have habits now in the work that we do, but they just don't really necessarily serve us and our patients to the highest standard, right? And actually, one of the things that is mentioned in this paper by these 2 authors is that idea of excellence and the importance of mindfulness, of being aware of these habits, of really, high reliability requires cultivating more mindful habits of thought and action focused on detecting deviations and identifying the signals that are showing us that we're not meeting the best we're not providing the best service to the patient. So the components of habit and high reliability, they've organized into this table, and I'm just going to run through these components and then wrap up this final article in review. But the components of habit are tendencies towards modes of action and thought. It's being mindful, acquiring and shaped by prior action, and we put them into or we create automaticity around that. But these habits need to be fitted to the environment, and they need to be socially shared. It's not just my habits, but it is a habit of how we care for patients in this environment. It needs to be obviously evidence-based, and there is an emphasis on moving towards excellence. Excellence is not a destination, right? It's a journey that you're constantly reviewing and revising how we're doing these things and how our habits are aligning with the journey to excellence. So on that note, I think you're going to love this. He joins mindful organizing with these habits to really put emphasis on the importance of being present and thoughtful in creating these habits. Because right now we have a lot of habits that we're really not thoughtful about. We don't think about them. It's just the way we do things. This is just how I put a feeding tube in. I don't need to put sucrose. I don't need to give the baby sucrose before a needle stick because I'm so good they won't even notice that I stuck them with a needle. I mean, you know, we have crazy thoughts and crazy habits. What these folks are inviting us to do, kind of spinning off of what the previous author is to create mindful habits that really do serve us and serve our patients in a more meaningful way. So check out these articles. They're really wicked awesome. I hope that you've enjoyed the 12 days of articles in review. My plan for future videos is, again, I'm still on the sights and sounds of Boston and beyond, wherever I am. And I really invite you guys, you know, if you like this medium, please let me know if there's some ideas that you have that you'd like to see me share, different practice strategies, anything, you know. I really want to make sure that what I'm putting out there is really of value to you and is really serving you in the most meaningful way possible. So on that note, I'll let you go. Have a great rest of the weekend. I hope you're warm and safe and happy wherever you are on the planet. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care and always care well. Bye.